Hello everybody, welcome back to the workshop. So in this video we are going to be forging yet another hook blank that you can find over at our website www.blacksmithingblanks.com. Be sure to check that link down in the description down below. In this video we're going to be focusing on a feather hook blank, and without further ado, let's just get right into it, shall we? Okay, step one in this process, we're going to go ahead and forge out the actual hook shank a little bit, the part that will become our hook. All right, all I'm doing is futzing around with it there. Just a little bit of fussiness, trying to get everything nice and straight. Make this as straight as you like it. Forge it out as much as you like, or not at all. You can make a decent size hook without forging this out. I just like to draw out I like to hammer all areas of a blank when you're forging things out. Because again, at the end of the day, we are blacksmiths, right? We're not fabricators, so we're just trying to, we're trying to add some forge work to this, and having the plasma blank just helps shortcut some of the process instead of us having to spread something out on the end of a bar and then draw out a long shank and things like that. We can get there a little bit quicker with a blank like so. All right, so now we're gonna flip it around. Okay, we're gonna grip it in our tongs the other way, and now we're gonna put in the center vein. Several options you can do with this. You can make a raised vein, or you can make a recessed vein. For simplicity today, I'm going to do a recessed vein. That also gives us the option to put our screw holes or our nail holes in that vein itself and hide them somewhat inconspicuously in the design. If you make a raised vein, you're going to have to take and screw or nail off to the sides of that center raised vein for this thing. So let's get that back in the fire. While that's heating up, I'll talk a little bit more about this step hammer kit, this treadle hammer kit, if you will. You can actually buy this over at our website, www.blacksmithingblanks.com, if you have any interest. As you can see, you can bolt in any type of sledgehammer you may have and any length handle that you may have to make this a nice little short stubby deal here, or even longer to get a bit more mechanical advantage. The kit comes with everything to bolt it together, so there's no welding necessary, and the whole thing mounts to a singular 2x4 stud. So that's how this whole thing is designed. The things that you have to provide is the hammer, of course, the 2x4 stud that this thing bolts to, and some place to hammer upon. This can be your own main shop anvil, it can be a secondary anvil you may have, or even a railroad track anvil or anything like that, or even just a solid chunk of steel stuck in the dirt. You can use this hammer here. As you can see, I can get the action with just tapping my foot or using a set of 2 fingers. I made this and designed this hammer over the course of about 5 to 6 years now, and so I've designed it so this way it has a really nice balance on it and a feather feel, so none of this wearing out the hip joints by working a treadle like so. So without further ado, I'll be back with you once that hook's hot. Okay, we've got the other end of our hook hot here, and now we're going to go ahead and start at the very tip of this with a chisel, and we're going to chisel in a line. Make sure we're staying in the previously cut groove each time. And as I get closer to the bottom of this feather here, I'm actually going to hit it a little harder and make that line cut in a little deeper. I want it to start in thick, and then as it goes up, it just lightly thins out. It gives the impression of a tapered quill, if you will. And we don't go all the way out to the tip with it. All right, there we go. Just like so. So there's our center vein. Also at this point, I'm going to add in some side cuts to give the impression that there's individual folds in this feather. So hopefully you guys can see how that works there. So you don't have to go crazy with this, but it's nice if you can do it. To give the impression of there actually being some segmentation on the leaf. So I'll continue through that, and then we'll move on to the next process. Okay, now that we've got all of our segmentation done, now we're going to come in here and we're going to start adding some texture and spreading out to each side of those segmentations. I'm not going crazy with the texture. I'm being very methodical about it. I can do that with the step hammer. If you're hammering with this, you know, you may not be able to be as methodical with your texture, but that's, you know, you can try to aim for that. It could be a very handy thing to do. So let me give a little texture right to the tip. What I'm doing here, instead of just doing a bulk texture on the piece, I'm trying to give the effect of like ruffling, if you will. There's another way you could do this. You could take a really sharp, fine chisel and just lightly tap it all over the surface to give like those individual like down feather quill, like hairs, you know, those little furry down feathers. You could work at that to give it some extra dimension. Our efforts here isn't to try to take and actually create a real feather. It's to give the impression when it's hanging on the wall. So really fine detail when it's hanging on a wall actually kind of disappears anyhow. So you put a ton of effort into that, and then all that texture just kind of, you really can't see it once it goes on the wall. So there you go. Hopefully you guys can see that really well. Next step of this process, I will do the rest of that, and then we'll bend up the hook. Okay, now we're ready to take and bend this hook up, and we want to use our anvil. So another great feature of this, I leave enough chain here, adjustment link chain, that we can actually move this whole treadle hammer up out of the way. So this way, put that up there. Now we can actually hand hammer in here and use this anvil just as is. So this will make it really great for you guys with super small shops, that you can use now your own forging anvil that you already have in your shop at your disposal, and just add the treadle hammer as an additional helper in the shop. It works much like a striker does. All right, so first things first, we're going to roll that little rat's tail away, or this roll it away and create a little rat's tail on the end. Basically a little curly Q that just points back at itself, just like so. And then we're going to go ahead and bend that right close by that curly Q, right around the tip of the horn. Get her all lined up here. And they're going to make that kind of come back to itself a little bit. I like it to point back at the hook itself. Some people like to leave it just as like a J hook, where it's just a simple J. Getting all that lined up, and we're good. We're ready to brush it. I like my hooks to come back and curl just a little bit and point back at the hook body itself. Now we'll flip this around here. Grip it by the hook end. Doo-doo. And we'll brush it. Again, you can find these blanks and more over our website, www.blacksmithingblanks.com. Be sure to go check them out. Definitely check out this treadle hammer kit and get one for yourself. The nature of the treadle hammer kit is I can only make a limited quantity at a time of them. So be sure to go over there, get your order in. And we have the fastest shipping in the biz. Oh, if we have it on the shelf, I usually ship it within 2 to 3 business days at the most, if it's on the shelf, and we keep our quantities pretty much accurate online, so be sure to go check them out. So that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. As you can see, this is done. You could brass brush finish this, you could paint it, you could just do a blacksmith's finish with like some beeswax or some oil. The choice is totally up to you. I do, however, recommend if this is going to be an outdoor hook that you just go ahead and paint it with some Rust-Oleum clear coat enamel or Krylon or anything like that. Any of your standard high gloss paints out there will do well for this in an outdoor application. All other traditional finishes will do really, really exceptionally well indoors and hold up really nice, and they smell a heck of a lot better than paint. But anyways, thank you to all the channel members for making the content possible around here. Make sure to use your discounts over there at the at the website with all your discount codes for all you channel members out there. And we just thank you all for the support. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.